right, next, multiplying fractions. So to combine the multiplied fractions into one, we want to keep the numerators in the numerator and the denominators in the denominator position. So for example, let's say we had two fractions, a over b being multiplied by c over d. So you keep the numerators in the numerator of the new product, and you multiply those numerators together, and you keep the denominators together as the denominator in the product, and you multiply those two together. So a fraction of a over b times c over d will be equal to a times c all over b times d. Maybe a quick example of that would be if we had 2/3 times 4/9. Keep the numerators together. That would be 2 times 4 all over the denominators, which is 3 times 9, which would be 8 over 27. And this, is also true if you're multiplying, more than two fractions together. So here's an example where we're multiplying 4 fractions together. It doesn't matter if it's 4 or 6, 10, 12, or 100 fractions. You just multiply all the numerators together, keeping them in the numerator, and then multiply all the denominators together and keep those in the denominator of the product. And whatever this numerator product comes out to be, that's what you get. And then whatever product this comes out to be, that's what you get for the denominator in your product. So here's a second example. So 3/5 times 2/11. So the 3 and the 2 stay in the numerator and they're multiplied together. The 5 and the 11 stay in the denominator and they get multiplied together. So you get 6 over 55. And then here's an example of multiplying 4 fractions together. So you can see all of these numerators stay in the numerator and they're multiplied together. And this is your product. And then all of these denominators stay in the denominator and they're multiplied together. And that gives you this product. So you're left with a fraction of 1,430 all over 6,783. And because these expressions are equal, you can reverse the direction. So, here we've got a times c over b times d. You can write that as the product of two fractions. So let me actually maybe use this example to kind of explain what I'm talking about here. So let's say instead of starting here with two fractions being multiplied, what if I started with 6 over 55? Well, I can do a prime factorization of 6 and realize that's 2 times 3. And I can do a prime factorization of 55 and realize that that's 5 times 11. Now, what's interesting is I could maybe write that in two ways. I could write that as 2/5 times 3/11, okay, by putting these two together and these two together that way. Or I could write this as 2/11 times 3/5. So 2/11 times 3/5. That'll yield the same product of 6 over 55. All right, so starting from a fraction, you can decompose it as a product of fractions. Or naturally, if you start with multiplying two fractions, you can multiply them together to get one product, one fraction.